Hey everybody, it's Shelby from Staying Books, and today I'm going to be reviewing this really fantastic book by Megan Derr, Shield of the Dragon. It's the 6th book in her Dance with the Devil series. I did receive this book from NetGalley in exchange for an honest review. Of course, all opinions expressed in this video are mine and mine alone, totally unvarnished. So, because this is the 6th book in this series, this review may contain some small spoilers for previous books, or most especially book 5, Sword of the King. The first 5 books in this series almost work as standalones. While the world is interconnected, there's very little crossover characterization previously. That changes with book 6. So because of that, there's a little bit of backstory necessary to understand the start of Shield of the Dragon. So at this point, if you have not read the series, I would recommend you stop watching. I will try to do this review with as little spoilers as possible, but as this book picks up pretty much almost immediately after book 5, it's kind of impossible. So if you're interested in reading the series, I will link the rest of the books down below for your reading pleasure. It's definitely worth it. You should so check this series out. It's one of my favorite series. I adore it. It's great fantasy. Okay, so a little history. In this world, dragons came about as part of Arthurian legend. Excalibur, when it was handed to Arthur, was not a sword, but the ultimate weapon, a dragon. He was the first of the Pendragons, gifted with the power to control other dragons, and any knight bonded to a Pendragon would automatically become a prince and do all the respect and power that status entailed. The Knights of the Round Table were gifted their own dragons as well. These knights, or steel dragons, were a testament to their honor and integrity. It was a weapon to be used for the good of all. Well, there came a time where one of the clans felt that the dragons deserved something more, and they used magic to give the dragons the ability to shapeshift into humans. In doing so, they created a race of lesser dragons whose powers were more diverse, but they weren't as strong as the knight dragons or the Pendragons. For their transgressions, Clan Mordred was cursed, and they were cursed to never bond with the dragon again, and then they were exiled. So now fast forward in time to today, there are 2 main powers in the world that utilize dragons. Both sides know very little about each other ultimately. You have the syndicates and the clans. The syndicates have only ever really experienced those lower dragon types, the dragons created by Clan Mordred. While powerful, even a quad black is no match for one of the night dragons that the clans still have power over. So within the secret hidden clans, they're surrounded by their night dragons and ruthlessly protect the knowledge and positions of any Pendragon that's ever born. So in book 5, Sword of the King, we met Blaze and his dragon Eerie, Ken and his dragon Nevada or Nev, and then also Raphael and Conway, and finally Amir and Cam. The book was really more about Blaze, Eerie, Raphael, and Conway, at least as far as the romance went. So by the end of the book, and what leads us into this story is that Ken and Nev had helped to rescue Cam from the hands of the Syndicate, and when Cam came face to face with Amir, his dragon nature was triggered, the Pendragon was revealed, and his bond with Amir broke the curse on Clan Mordred. So at the end of the book, we're left with Amir trying to establish Clan Mordred territory in the land they'd just taken from the Syndicate. As part of that, now he's a prince in his own right, and he's due to his bonding with Cam, and he had Ken formally made a member of Clan Mordred, bonded to him as his steward, and then he kissed him, claiming him for more than just his duties to his clan. So now you basically have the 2 guys looking to establish a new clan, not even a new clan, they're just moving Clan Mordred and allowing them to kind of take their rightful place as a clan again. And it was left with the feeling that there was something more between Ken and Amir. So now we come to the beginning of Shield of the Dragon. Caveat with this book. I would note that while the sex scenes in this book are well balanced throughout, it's not just all sex, they do fall on the more erotic side, in large part because this is a polyamorous book. The nature of dragons and their bonded owners is a sexual one, and yet the dragons aren't fully human. This leaves the owners still craving that human relationship, but because the men in the relationships are also looking for that other more human connection, There are a lot of polyamorous relationships. You don't just have two humans in the relationships, but you also have their dragons. Also, for MM readers, this particular story is not strictly MM. There is also a male-male-female relationship in it. It is a more open, broad, it just needs a more open, broad mind to read than some of the others. Not in a bad way, just like it's different, and you have to be okay with polyamory and the fact that in this world it means nothing. There's no stigma attached to it. So now we come to Shield of the Dragon. And here we get two sides of this ongoing story. So on the one side you have Ken and Amir. They're a month out of the ordeal to rescue Cam. Things have not gone smoothly. They are beginning to establish the clan in their new home. They're constantly under attack from both the syndicates and the clans, because everyone is determined to get their hands on the Pendragon. They're all convinced that the bond between Cam and Amir can't possibly be a real one, that Cam must have been forced into bonding with Amir. As steward, Ken is responsible for the protection of the clan. So he's running around, running himself ragged, trying to do everything on his own. He doesn't feel like he's truly a member of the clan. He has a lot of insecurities that go back to his own bonding with Nev, his roots, and how he was raised. And the fact that his relationship with Amir has not progressed past that one kiss is wearing on him as well. He's convinced no one, least of all Amir, wants him around. But yet he is determined to do everything he can to protect the clan up until the point they throw him out, as he's convinced that they're going to ultimately do. Meanwhile, in a different part of the country, we have Diamond. And Diamond was cursed by his brother with a poison that should have killed him. No one is known to have survived the Snow White curse. It left Diamond forever changed and tossed him into a paranormal world he knew nothing about. His skin is like now ghost white with silvered hair, and his lips are blood red. But the real trick of this curse is it's actually turned his blood poisonous. So anyone who gets like too much of the skin or just ingested it, it will kill them. This brings him to the attention of the Cambry Syndicate. The syndicate is known for its use of poisons. The head of the syndicate is a poisoner and very much interested in different poisons and how they work and how they go together. So he brings Diamond into his organization, offering him a place as an enforcer, and Diamond has risen through the ranks. Though he's never bonded with any of the dragons in the syndicate. They've been offered to him, but the bond has never happened, and he's convinced the dragons want nothing to do with him as well because of his poisonous blood. But he's still now the Cambry Syndicate's chief enforcer. So at the start of this book, the Cambry Syndicate is in position to kind of kick off a big ruckus. They've been contacted by one of the clans to kidnap Ken and get him away from Amir and the Pendragon. So the bonds within this clan between the members and their dragons are failing. And the clan has decided that the only way they can think of to fix this and get the bonds right between them and their dragons is to kidnap the Pendragon and have that Pendragon under their control, because that makes a ton of sense, because that's, the duties of a knight. They figure Amir is just a nuisance that they can deal with. They've hired a wizard, Gray, who you have to have read the other books to know who he was, and I did, and I figured it out. I was like, oh my gosh, I know who this is, even though they haven't said it. And it was a really great tie-in to other books in the series. So Gray's been brought in to figure out exactly what's going on with the clan bonds, and he's also been tasked with helping Diamond kidnap Ken. So this puts Diamond and Ken on a collision course with each other and has them facing personal demons and growing in ways that neither really could have expected. I just loved this book. It was absolutely fantastic. Not only are we reintroduced to characters we already love, but, the story is action-packed and it moves along really quickly. None of the books in this series are super long, but they pack a lot into them. There's a lot of action and drama within a very small amount of time. Each of the characters, old and new, they have rich backgrounds that make them really more interesting. The bond between a dragon and its owner is really fascinating and I liked in this story that it wasn't just the owner that was experiencing doubts and questioning their place and what was going on. Both Ken and Nev have their own demons to face. Um, Even if like the way Nev deals with things is much more simplistic and emotional because of like his draconian nature, it's not a hugely like thought out big plan. Um, Even though they can shift into human form, the dragons will never truly be human. The way that they think is still very draconian. And Nev struggles in this book with knowing how his place with him and Ken. The world building is just fantastic. I think it's one of Megan Derr's strong suits in any of the series of hers I've read. She manages to really make you understand the rules of her worlds very quickly. She creates a world where any sort of fantastical creature could show up and you wouldn't be surprised. It's a diverse world nestled in amongst an unknowing human populace, so each race she introduces has their own rules and powers unique to them, but the humans around them, unless they've been introduced to the paranormal world through chance or whatever, don't know that all this is going on. Part of what I really liked about this book is you get to see more of those races interacting. So because each of the past books stood on its own, you didn't see the different type of paranormal creatures relating to each other as much as you do in this book, and as much as you do in this book. It just having old characters reintroduced in this story really opened up whole new avenues to explore. All of the characters are really well fleshed out. They're interesting. I mean, I felt for both Ken and Diamond as they dealt with the trials the world was throwing at them. I mean, this is a romance, and both men are struggling to figure out what's going on with them personally, in their personal lives, while all of the action drama is going on around them. There's a lot of back and forth in this book with new pieces of information that are discovered, and times you're not really sure whose side everybody's on. But there's a really wonderful, lovely theme in this book dealing with the idea of what it means to be a knight, to be knightly. You know, once all the night dragons were bonded to descendants of the Round Table, now essentially these street rat punks are being chosen. And there's a clear statement in this story that the qualities of a knight, of chivalry and strength, of duty and honor, are not inborn genetic qualities just innate to the clans, and birth alone is not enough. The clans are forgetting their nature, and the dragons recognize this, and they're looking to find those true heart and soul qualities of a person outside of the traditional bonds. And they recognize that true heart and soul, and they will say, I want to be bonded to you because of those qualities. Like the dragon knows. So it's a really beautiful look at what it means to have honor and to do things for the right reasons. And no matter what your background is, it's your heart and soul that let you stand up for things and be more than you ever thought you could be. And the way that the bonds have been twisted by the syndicates in these forced pairings, that they're told, you know, you're master over your dragon rather than an owner, and the differences between what it means to be a master versus an owner, and the nature of the relationship with the dragon. It just was really beautiful. So overall, I really, really, really love this book. It is fantastic. Great continuation of the series. I'm so excited to know that Megan Derr is writing more books in this series. I actually thought book 5 was going to be her final one in the series, so when I found out book 6 was coming out, I was ecstatic. And now there's going to be a book 7 at least, and I already know from the end of this book they give a little teaser for it. Where it's going and kind of who it's going to be about is great. It's going to just be filling in more information, and I'm really excited to read it. It should come out in 2017. So if you haven't already read the series, you absolutely should jump in and start it with book 1. If you are familiar with the series and reading it, get this book. Go out and read it. It's totally worth it. It's a great continuation of the series. And just anyone should pick up Megan Derr's books because they are really fantastic. She has a great quality into her writing that's easy to read and just flows really smoothly. And she creates these really fantastic, amazing worlds. So hope you enjoyed this review. If you've read this or excited about this book coming out, since it just came out last week, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what your thoughts are, and hopefully we'll both get some good discussion about this one and enjoy everything that Megan Derr has to offer with her new book, Shield of the Dragon. Have a great day. Bye!